Hey, let me talk to you the way I would if you walked into my room and asked why everything suddenly sounds so much fuller and more real than you remember. Because after living with the Polk Audio R700 every day, you stop thinking of it as a pair of tower speakers and start seeing it as the moment your entire listening life leveled up. If you're the kind of person who actually listens, not just hears, this is for you. Someone who notices the breath in a vocal, the punch of a kick drum, the way a soundtrack blooms across a room. Someone who's outgrown the phase of pretending small speakers can fill a space with real authority. You're the type who values sound that feels confident, detailed, and expressive. Before we go deeper, check the current price and stock. These towers swing harder than most people expect. There's usually a moment that leads you here. Maybe your old setup started sounding thin when you turned it up. Maybe your bookshelves couldn't energize your room anymore. Maybe you hit that point where you realize your taste has evolved, and your speakers haven't. The day you switch to the R700 is the moment you finally walk away from compromise. The first evening you fire them up, it hits you instantly. The room fills without effort. Bass isn't boomy, it's controlled, deep, and physical. Vocals sharpen into focus. The soundstage doesn't just widen, it feels like it wraps around you. It's this wave of relief, because everything you've been trying to force out of weaker speakers suddenly becomes natural. The system finally matches the image you had in your head. Real-life moments are where it becomes addictive. Watching a movie and feeling impact from across the room, not just near the TV. Sitting back with a playlist at night and hearing small textures you've never noticed. Working during the day with low-volume music that still feels warm, full, and alive. Hosting people and watching their faces change when the bass kicks. Once you get used to towers that can actually move air, good enough stops being acceptable. While you're here, check the price again before it shifts. Popular sizes and finishes tend to jump without warning. If you're hesitating because they feel too serious, that's exactly why they're worth it. You're not buying loudness. You're buying presence. You're buying scale. You're buying that feeling of having real speakers that carry weight, depth, and confidence. And that tiny doubt fades the moment you hear how effortlessly they handle anything you throw at them. A surprise benefit most people don't expect is how balanced they are at low volume. You don't have to blast them to enjoy them. They sound rich and expressive even when your room is quiet. That's when you know you've stepped into a higher tier of audio. And owning these feels different. You stand a little taller when you look at your setup. You know you chose something built for listeners with taste. Something serious. Something that reflects who you are and what you value. It's not just audio equipment, it's a statement. The sound feels full-bodied and confident, the mids feel clean and honest, the bass hits with depth and control, and the room feels bigger than it actually is. The only real downside is that you'll start noticing flaws in poorer recordings, and once you get used to this scale, smaller speakers feel toy-like. Eventually you stop comparing alternatives, because you realize you kept circling back to the R700 anyway. At some point you choose the upgrade that matches your taste instead of settling and regretting it later. If you're ready, check the current price and lock them in. These aren't just speakers, they're the moment your entire listening experience becomes real.